Travis Wayne Goodsell. We're going to combine several videos into one here for you. We'll make an effort to try to get caught up from getting behind. In July 2017, I was forced to do a video in which I revealed myself as the true leader of the Church of Joseph Smith. Not a single Mormon believed. They don't study. They don't run the test of scriptures to find out true prophets versus false prophets. They are illiterate because they don't study to know that the Book of Mormon tells them that we're Jewish, not Christian. That in and of itself destroys the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and all their claims. Despite this, I've done over 8.5K videos. They're about 15 to 20 terabytes. It has been a massive project to save Mormon lives of those who would listen and believe. Over the years, there have been those who have followed, and a number of them have just disappeared. But there are still a handful that remain, only one from before the beginning. Most of the others as early as 2021. I am exceedingly trunky. It has been long and exhausting to do this work alone and to receive the pressure, the threats, the abuse from Mormons who not only don't believe but think that they're going to enforce their falsehoods with criminal activity, to cyber terrorize me, to steal from me, to hurt me, even unto attempting to murder me. The abuse is far more than any other person could possibly endure. All because I am the true leader of the church that Joseph Smith founded. And Mormons who don't know what scripture I'm referring to run the test, section 107, verse 91 and 92. That's the whole problem, is that Mormons who are abusive don't know their scriptures. They emotionally react and respond. The Book of Mormon talks about prophets who confront antichrists. The antichrists are those who use psychological manipulation to brainwash the masses. The prophets use the science contained in Scripture. The test is the science of agronomy. Prophecy is the process of science to learn the truth. The signs in the heavens are the science of astronomy. And yet, because of the great Constantine, who created Christianity, created Jesus with his nature and character, turning the Jewish scriptures into literal histories, selecting those literal histories now They conform and comply to their interpretation of the first creed of Christianity into what they call the Old and New Testament of the Bible. There are over 4 billion on earth now who believe the lie. Everybody ignores the origin. They don't want to know the origin. They enforce their interpretation, which is a lie, upon all other people, and demand religious freedom to do so. Especially certain extremist religions like evangelicals, Islam, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Any Mormon who studies their scriptures knows this church ain't following them. Regardless of whether you understand what the learning of the Jews is. As Sister Welsh was in the church news this week, encouraging Mormons to study Section 88 before conference. I did that video. I listened to her. She was in my dreams that morning. Remember, I'm a seer. And I went over for you verse 94 and 105. And another angel shall sound his trump, saying, that great church, the mother of abominations, that made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. This is a religion, in case you're confused, that maybe it's a government, because it has Trump in there. He did say he's the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. That persecuteth the saints of God. This is Joseph Smith, who called his members saints, Latter-day Saints. This was 1832, December 27th, 2 years before the name would be changed to the Church of the Latter-day Saints. Take that back to your Book of Mormon, Mormons. If it be the church of a man, then it shall be the church of a man. If it be the church of Moses, then it shall be the church of Moses. If it be the church of the Latter-day Saints, then it's the church of the Latter-day Saints. Simple. And so any document claiming to be by Joseph, using the name of the church as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is a forged document by Brigham Young. Forged. You know, Mark Hoffman stuff. That shed their blood. Yep, Brigham Young, all the way to Monson and Nelson, have shed Mormon's blood. Who sitteth upon many waters. Yep. And upon the islands of the sea. Yep. Behold, she is the tares of the earth. You can now put the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in all of the New Testament and Joseph Smith's parables using tares. Because they lie and choke the true word from science. Here's a prophecy, a prediction of the future. She is bound in bundles. That's the symbol of fascism. Interesting, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is fascist. They take away agency, life, liberty, property, with threats of violence, death penalty covenant oaths of blood atonement. Her bands are made strong. No man can loose them. Therefore, she is ready to be burned. The prophets have been threatening to burn you if you don't pay them. That's called terrorism. This is what kidnappers and extortionists do. And here is the prophecy that such will get punished for what they are doing. The law of Purim, Book of Esther, Deuteronomy 19:19. And he shall sound trump, both long and loud, and all nations shall hear it. So right now, the church got away with stealing lots and lots of money. Checking the Asian markets this morning, yeah, Japan was hit hard. Hong Kong was hit pretty hard, still, on the day 2. And checking the European markets, they are starting off low as well. And so it's very likely that America will again see another drop in the stock market today. And then 105. And again, another angel shall sound his trump, which is the 6th angel, saying, She is fallen, who made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. She is fallen, is fallen. This is the fall of the great and abominable church, who seeketh to overthrow the government of the United States of America and all nations of the earth, and call it Jesus' fault, blaming Jesus for what they cause. That is Christian extremism or Christian nationalism. They are terrorist groups. The church is a terrorist group. They are an insurrectionist group. They are a criminal organization. It's blatantly obvious. But unfortunately, Mormons are foolish virgins, just like the statue without the reserve oil, meaning those are the 5 foolish virgins, because they only have the lamps. Dear God. I mean, seriously. Because of the creation of Christianity, the world fell into the Dark Ages. Mankind losing the knowledge of science and technology and human intelligence became stupid, illiterate, superstitious. You know, women are now witches. It's the woman's fault that the man had sex with her. So she needs to be burned. But this created such hate and violent responses whenever the consequences of their darkened mind kicked in. The Black Plague of Europe. Yeah, all you had to do was bathe. The Jews bathed, and you called them witches. But Mormon apologists, because they refuse to be literate, to study, go to section 95 and have no clue what it means because they're using the wrong interpretation. And so they have to make stuff up. And there shall be silence in heaven for the space of half an hour. And so Mormons spend their time trying to figure out what this could be and speculating, doing videos and other stuff prior to social media and the internet, publishing books about it. Right, Bruce R. McConkie? All going beyond the mark. When it's real simple, when you use the learning of the Jews. And immediately after shall the curtain of heaven be unfolded as a scroll is unfolded after it is rolled up. The scriptures were written on scrolls, words. You unfold the scroll so that you can read it. And it's talking about the heavens being like an open scroll, except for a space of a half an hour. Not a single Mormon understands it. And yet, this is what I've been going over with you with that video from 2017 that revealed that I am the true leader of Joseph Smith's church. And it was put in the Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. There appeared a great sign in heaven, in the likeness of things on the earth. Prophecy and the day and the hour of the prophecy. Likeness of things on the earth, the future prediction, sign in the heavens, the day and the hour of when it is to occur. So the date for verses 1, 2, and 3, which is 1, 2, and 5 in the regular Revelation 12, is the 23rd of September 2017. Joseph Smith tells us that the man-child is our Christ. 23rd September 2017? He's born? Which means it's not Jesus if you're going to interpret it that way. But it's still not Jesus if you've read all other scriptures, especially from Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon. That Joseph Smith Jr. is the Jewish Christ named Messiah ben Joseph of Egypt. And that after him will come a man from his religion that got usurped by the enemy who murdered him, who would save that religious people from that evil, abominable church. Now you understand that that is your Christ, Mormons. And he is a Mormon. He is the true leader of Joseph's church. Do I need to make the connection, or did you miss it? You did get it, right? You're running the test, right? There's over 8.5K videos. There's 15 to 20 terabytes. It is too late for you to cram. It ain't gonna be done. And so, this past week or two, you've been allowed to see some incredible stuff to judge me by my fruits with. So there's not that many hours to get caught up on, to see for yourself who I am, to bypass cramming the 8.5K videos. You're welcome. This is Passover, and there is a really cool thing going on in the heavens for Passover, because Passover is the Exodus of Moses story, which, again, sign in the heaven, likeness of things on the earth. The scriptures were written based on the signs in the heavens as prophecies. That's why the heavens are unfolded like a scroll, because they prophesy with the day and the hour. And the prophets write it in the scriptures. So the space of silence for a half an hour is that there is nothing being talked about for prophecy for just a half an hour. It's not complicated. Do not look beyond the mark. That is the learning of the Jews. Whoops. And so, the Exodus of Moses is the parting of the waters, the dry land appears, and the house of Israel goes through, led by Moses. The law of the Jews, the book of Deuteronomy, tells all Jews that their Christ, who is coming in the future on the 23rd of September 2017, which Mormons know exclusively is going to be a Mormon, he is a man like Moses. He is Messiah ben David. He is Emmanuel, the sun god of the ancient Egyptians at noonday. Amen. El. So what is really cool, because I checked it last night and then ran the test, and didn't do the snapshots because it's in the other file. Crap. There we go. So 30, 31, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, I know, I still haven't relabeled them. Just be glad I did them. So follow the sun in the signs in the heavens this year for the Exodus. Moses passing through the waters on dry ground. Pisces, the fish symbol that is split, parted, and there's the sun at the beginning of Passover, there in the middle of Pisces. Now go forward each day of Passover. Dun, 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 dun. There it is. It passes through the parted waters. The sun passes through the waters. And I have it at noon. That was so cool. And yet, I ran the test. Is this every year for Passover? No, it's not. That's important to know. And so I ran the test last night for just 2020 to 2025. So 2025, yes, it works. Going back 2024? Nope, didn't work. 2023? Nope, didn't work. 2022? Yes, it worked. 2021? Nope. 2020? Yes. 2020 worked. The reason why I did 2020 is because I already know that 2020 was the Exodus year. I parted the waters that summer, which is interesting because it wasn't on the days of Passover. It was that summer when I parted the waters. And so the sign in the heavens happened, but the event on earth was during the summertime. So no one understand that. And so I'm really hoping that we aren't going to extend into the summertime. Like I said, I'm chunky, I'm worn out, I am getting behind, trying to get caught up from being behind. This has been way too long. And so I'm combining an extra video on top of the extra videos because tomorrow is conference. And because of that, I'm going to do the 5th today as well as the 4th. The 4th is really just the quarter moon. Not that big of a deal, but it's the month of months that we're waiting for. For tomorrow, on the 5th, is from the book of Jesus, chapter 2. Why is he put in the Old Testament time period? See how Christianity did it wrong? Because they turned this into literal history, because it's talking about Joshua, who is mentioned in the law of the Jews, and in the Exodus, and in Leviticus, I think, and in Deuteronomy, Numbers. He's in the 5 books. That therefore, he must be a literal history story that comes after, and thus is placed after Deuteronomy, which is last. But no, this is a separate author. He is writing his version. He chose the time period of talking about the house of Israel, which never existed. The house of Israel never existed. Therefore, we cannot be the literal seed of the house of Israel. But obviously, we are the literal seed of people who lived in Canaan and Egypt. They were real, but not the stories. The stories are prophecy and revelation for right now. And so, on tomorrow's day, the Jewish tradition, and it may even be mentioned in Joshua chapter 2, giving you the date, and thus would be tomorrow, that the Jewish scholar who's writing this prophecy was looking at the stars in the heaven for tomorrow, as he sends in 2 spies to spy on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You don't need spies. They leak everything. And so, as I'm reading, I do not see a date given by them, so it's just Jewish tradition. And Joshua, the son of Nun, sent out Shittim 2 men to spy secretly, saying, "Go view the land, even Jericho." And they went and came into an harlot's house named Rahab, and lodged there. And it was told the king of Jericho, saying, "Behold, there came men hither tonight of the children of Israel to search out the country." And the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab, saying, "Bring forth the men that are come to thee, which are entered into thine house, and they be come to search out all the country." And the woman took the 2 men, and hid them, and said thus, "There come men unto me, but I wist not whence they were." And it came to pass, about the time of shutting of the gate, when it was dark, that the men went out. Whither the men went I wot not. Pursue after them quickly, for ye shall overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof of the house, and hid them with the stalks of flax, which she had laid in order upon the roof. And the men pursued after them the way to Jordan unto the fords, and as soon as they which pursued them were gone out, they shut the gate. And it continues on. But if you understand the learning of the Jews, if you understand the prophecies of the latter days, the great whore of the church, the great and abominable church, you can understand better why these spies go to a harlot's house. Real simple when you use the learning of the Jews, because the Jews called this practice the abomination of desolation. Also, tomorrow, a sign in the heavens that involves President Russell Marion Nelson, who's on his deathbed. The moon, that was just a quarter moon today, is in very close conjunction with Mars, the red star of the sea of heaven. Russell Marion, baby name meaning. I've been following Mars as I've been following Nelson this whole time, because I know about this. And so I did get that picture, and it will be used. Nelson is the head of the church. When Isaiah talks about, "And the government shall be upon his shoulders," and mantles talked about in scriptures, yeah, that's for authority. It's for governing. Where's Mars? On the shoulder of the other brother of Gemini, the one who's immortal and is able to resurrect the other brother who died. Nelson has been on his deathbed while Mars was right smack in between the two of them. The brother who is immortal, which is not literal history, it's prophecy, resurrects the dead brother to become part of the afterlife. Nelson is about to die. That's what the sign means. The first quarter moon tomorrow is with Mars on the shoulder. The government of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This has precedent, not just because of the curse of Joseph Smith on all his enemies who claimed authority that they do not have. Let's see, we gotta go to Hales. Hales died on conference morning that Sunday, on the 1st of October. And yep, signs in the heaven followed, similar to the curse of Joseph Smith. He gets an exemption clause because, well, September, October, yeah, it was just a week after the 23rd of September 2017, which was a month after the start of the latter-day sign in heaven, 21st of August 2017, an eclipse of the sun, casting a shadow on the earth of the location of where the prophecies and the events on earth are supposed to happen. Not Jerusalem, the United States of America. Remember, the Christ is a Mormon. You're supposed to be looking to America for the Mormon. Sure enough, confirmed. When running a theory test using science, you have to conduct 3 separate tests for confirmation. They can't be the same test. You can't say, well, will the light shut off if I flip the one switch on the left? I flip it. Oh, yep, sure did. Now let's try it again. Oh, yep, it sure did. No, the different tests are that one, and then the one down the hall. And then down at the core central place, the electric plant or wherever it is. Those different tests, following the line. But this, yeah, multiple different tests have confirmed this. It's well established as fact. And so even for his actual day, there was a sign in the heavens, as I had put it in the picture that I had done for you. There are a whole bunch of stars falling from heaven over by Pisces and Aries, the Lamb-Ram sacrificial constellation. And then, is it the moon? Oh, it's difficult to read. Oh! There's a falling star up above Taurus and Caligula, whatever it's called. But it looks like the moon is at the feet of Leo the Lion, along with potentially other planet. It's difficult to tell, but Jupiter, yeah, he just got born, starting his ministry. The sun, and thus Mercury, is nearby, and Venus is somewhere in there. And Mars, oh, that's right, because of the, yeah, oh my God, humiliating. Mercury, Mars, and Venus are there to the right. It looks like Mercury has made it into Virgo by this point, as it's Mars and Venus that are together at the feet. And so, hails his death, sign in the heavens. And yeah, there's even a daytime meteor showers, sextants. So pretty cool stuff. And so we are on watch for the curse of Joseph Smith upon President Nelson. He is not authorized. He is not supposed to be the leader of the church. He's the leader of the great and abominable church. His name, baby name meaning, is Mars. Mars is the husband of Venus. Venus is the symbol of the inverted pentagram of Lucifer. And thus, as the female, she's the church. Ephesians, Jesus is the head of the church, just as the man is the head of the woman. And Christians use that to enslave women to the man's will. Right, Mormon women? But that concept is symbolic. So the church is the church of the devil, not the church of the Lamb. That's Jupiter, the head of the church of the Lamb, because of the sign in the heavens last year, the third day of darkness on the 8th of April, 2024. The big event that finished off the signs in the heavens for the latter days. And we are still carrying over, and with the new year, the religious new year this year, we are now officially in the millennium, the time period prophesied as the millennium. We're going over time. Because Oaks said 2020 was just going to be a test run. Parted the waters, dear God. But also, there was a fun thing with, I have to find it. Whoops. Scott and his death, which we're going to have to check the calendar for. He died on the 22nd of September. Does that sound familiar, Mormons? Joseph Smith's second vision. And let me find the Hebrew calendar for that month, that year, 2015. I was cyber attacked all day yesterday from Microsoft, Google, and YouTube. They all conspired against me. All I did was quote. It was available for everybody to know. And so he died on the day before, the 10th of Tishri. Fascinating. The 10th of Tishri is the Day of Atonement. Where apparently he failed his atonement. He was judged and murdered by Jesus. It was also right before conference, which would have been the 3rd and 4th of October, which was during the Feast of Tabernacles, tents, which is part of Passover. That is the fall Passover. better not be going into Passover. We just finished the latter days. It's over. We're done. No more. Dear God, it's been way too long. And so, for conference, that's right. I almost forgot. Because this was really cool. Because I've been telling you about how I was freed from captivity for filing a petition for a redress of grievances 6 years later in 2014, which started the signs in the heavens of the latter days. And so I am able to watch the news talk about the lunar eclipse on the 15th of April, 2014. And I didn't have access to a computer yet, I don't think. I think that it was in the summertime when I finally got one. But it probably wasn't too long after. Anyway. I almost, just that close to purchasing a full computer system for XP. And just so close. Because it's the only system that would play my games. The one that I had bought back in 2014 is running hard, and I'm not technologically smart enough to fix it. But regardless, that close. See, that's why I want Zion, because in Zion we get what we need and what we want. None of this financial extortion, this bondage of slavery. But anyway, and so I knew about the test that I had run with Elder Faust and Gordon B. Hinckley that died under a lunar eclipse. I didn't know at the time that it was also a solar eclipse. But nonetheless, it was Monson's death that I then would go on to figure out, hey, why don't I run the test for solar eclipses too? Yeah. Yep. The government of the religion, the sun getting eclipsed, the moon getting eclipsed, the pattern, the curse of Joseph Smith. And so the sign came and went, and too much time went by for me to justify any kind of fulfillment of the death of an apostle. And so I went, oh, okay, test didn't happen. And then, for the 8th of October, 2014, the news I had learned was announcing another lunar eclipse. And I went, oh, whoa, 2! So, is there going to be 2 deaths? Time came and went. I even gave an extra month for it. Nothing. I didn't realize that the solar eclipses were also a part of it. And then the one for Saturday morning, April conference 4. This is the anniversary, the 10th anniversary, which was also on Passover. But Passover is not for another week and a half. 13th, so 9 days. But that's also interesting. 9 days. Interesting. Shua, Mormons. Shua. You have no clue, do you? Because I can say Jesus and Shua, and you would never know that they're the same. So yeah, this is a good thing that I did this. See, this is my prophetic associative memory. My seership that you just witnessed. The 4th of April, 2015. Saturday morning of conference. 10 years ago today. A third lunar eclipse. And then the news finally said, yeah, this is part of a tetrad. You bastards! And then, boom, Perry, Packer, Scott. All in a row. And Scott finishing it off on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. Signs in the heaven in the likeness of things on the earth. This set it up for Nelson to be put into pole position. Mars to be put in pole position for the year, the first year of the latter days. And Mormons don't believe this. They don't want to believe it because it's not faith promoting. Beep you. And so yes, they were on Passover and the Feast of Tabernacles, tents, the other Passover that started it off to let Mormons know, this is it, Mormons, we're setting it up for you. The scroll of heaven was opened and trumping to you. Yep, 2015, Trump does the escalator. I've done these calendar videos already. Why are you that stubborn that you would rather die than admit that this church is the great and abominable church? That they are stealing from you, that they are hurting you, that they are holding you in bondage, that they have murdered your loved ones, your neighbors, your family members, your friends. They're dead because of Nelson, because Oaks got leaked. They are the murderers. And you still thank thee, O God, for a false prophet. Nelson is about to die. Are you going to go against God? Really? You're that brazen, are you? Good luck. But there's also something I am keeping personal watch of. Because last year on 9/11, I woke up with a dream. And I've been telling you about the dream and showing you the pictures almost daily. It's with Irene laying his hands on my head and transferring authority to me. This is the final four that I have been talking about this whole time. The final four events to millennial Zion is the fall of the great and abominable church, which anciently was a theocracy, government and religion as one. It is not that way now. And so the fall consists of both the United States of America and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The transfer of authority. The United States falling and the church falling gets transferred the authority to, yeah, it's me. And then I take you in an exodus. It's really cool. It's like drawing on paper back when we had paper. You see, kids, paper comes from trees. Draw at the bottom of the page and just slightly alter it, and the more pages, the better the effect. And so then you flip the pages and you'll see it as a moving picture, like a GIF, as you know it as. That's where GIFs come from. A whole bunch of pictures put frame to frame to create a moving picture. Thus, movies are that same type of thing. But this was the original movie moving picture. Literally. And so, yeah, the sun passing through the parted waters. It's so awesome. And then the establishment of Zion, the Church of the Lamb. That's after Pisces. That's the whole scriptures in a nutshell for you, is Passover. And so, Trump caused the United States government to fall with the election on the 5th of November, 2024. He now is King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the great high priest. He's the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. America fell with his victory. The transfer of authority, yeah, I was doing the videos for you. It happened several times. Biden conceding, Biden inviting him to the White House, and the official January 20th. The transfer of authority. So this is the enemy usurping the prophecies. Trump is not Jesus. He's not the man like Moses either. But everybody's trying to force him to be King Cyrus. He's not doing a very good job. He has a job to do, and he's not doing it. Because he's not the one. But nonetheless, his exodus, deportation, get out. He becomes Pharaoh now. Because he's supposed to take MAGA in an exodus. He's supposed to get out. But this is why he's the enemy. The Pharaoh, the false Christ, the false prophet. The beast in Revelations, as he is referred to. And so, yeah, from January 20th, he began the deportation, sending in the military to the border. And so his establishment of Zion, yeah, he himself declared it Liberation Day on the 2nd. Signed as an executive order. Zion, for Trump, for MAGA, was established. So it was actually pretty quick. But as you can see, it's having an effect of destroying the federal government, collapsing the economy, destroying America, which the church is hoping for, because that's the church's fall. They put Trump in. Oaks got leaked. So the fall is the same fall as Trump. But also the fall was January 20th for the church. Because the transfer of authority involves Trump. His deportation and shutting down of federal agencies and firing federal agencies is transferring the authority to the states, and the church runs and operates the state of Utah. So Trump's actions are transferring authority to the church. And so the second, transferring money to the church from Exodus chapter 12, where Moses and the house of Israel are given the wealth of Egypt to take with them in the Exodus. The transfer of authority. Creeping death took out the firstborn. The dynasty is dead, and a new dynasty has to happen with a transfer of authority. Moses is that story form of the transfer of authority and the transfer of wealth. See how this is working for the enemies who are split and not one theocracy? The prophecies are fulfilled, Mormons. They are happening in real time. And so the church's exodus is similar to Trump. It's a deportation, but from the state of Utah. Zion, as they call it. Deseret 2.0. So section 119 tells us this. It's a forged document of Brigham Young, because it violates Joseph Smith, the Book of Mormon, and the Bible, all in one. Anybody who's literate knows it ain't true. Dear God. But in there, you are threatened to pay, and if you do not pay, you're out. You are not worthy to abide in Zion. You have to pay the extortion, ransom, prostitution price of your spouse to stay in Zion. And even then, they have you in bondage. You are a slave to them. They get the women, not you. Remember polygamy? It's supposed to be practiced in the millennium. And so this is what the church is waiting for. They've now gotten the money, and now we have conference. What do you think they're going to want to talk about for conference, especially Oaks? When Nelson is on his deathbed, Oaks is next. Oaks has been threatening to murder all of you. From December 8th, 2024, with the First Presidency Christmas devotional, Oaks spoke, threatened to murder you for Easter. 2nd of January, the day after the terrorist attack that the church funded down in New Orleans, Oaks posted on Facebook the reminder of the death threat for Easter. On the 16th of February, 2025, Oaks said he was assigned to do a video of the First Presidency Easter message, giving you the death threat again. But don't worry, resurrection is literal. The 18th of March, the official First Presidency message, which I went over with you, the sign in the heavens, Oaks was the one who wrote it, not Nelson. He's on his deathbed. And again, oh my God, he escalated the death threat, putting in scriptures to say you are bound to Jesus for your temple covenants, and you're going to die, and we're going to murder you. Oh my hell. Why are Mormons still Mormon? Because they don't study. All you had to do was look up the scriptures he put in, and you would go, oh crap, I'm in the wrong church. And then, April 2nd, on transfer of authority day of the funds, the church had erected the statue of the 5 foolish virgins, of which I then referenced Oakes's talk about the 5 foolish virgins. And the scripture he quoted was from our Doctrine and Covenants, section 45, not Matthew 25. Because in Doctrine and Covenants 45, it talks about the foolish virgins getting deceived and getting burned. And there are the 5 foolish virgins with the great and abominable church of Lucifer, led by Lucifer, who's on his deathbed. And Oakes has been making all these death threats to burn you. And I just read to you from the beginning, from section 88, about the burning of the great and abominable church, bound with fascism, taking away agency, getting burned. The fall of the great and abominable church. But they don't want that. And so, their establishment of Zion, it appears that it's going to be conference weekend. But something apparently is going to happen to prevent it. But as Trump's happened, it's likely the church will happen. But then, on the 13th, a week after the 6th, we have Passover. And so the prophecies are on my side. The signs in the heavens are on my side. The fulfillment, all these years, are on my side. But none of them have happened yet. The fall has not happened. America, yeah, it's well underway. The church, it should be. The transfer of authority, yeah, we can't even begin to think about that until after the fall happens. But because Mormons don't know who I am and are no longer listening because they don't believe, and that's why they're ready to be burned, the Mormons in this valley, down in, especially in Utah County, are the worst of Mormons, the worst of humanity. That's why they're ready to be burned. They are not good people. You cannot say Jesus is the Christ as a Mormon, especially, because that makes you worse than a Christian. Because it means that despite the blatantly obvious in print in the Book of Mormon and the words of Joseph Smith, you deny it openly as you go on your missions and say, Jesus is the Christ. Here's the Book of Mormon. It's another testament of Jesus Christ. Joseph Smith saw Jesus in the first vision. That makes you the worst of humanity. And Mormons don't get it, they don't see it, and they get offended and angry and hostile when you tell them. They refuse to repent. They don't see themselves as needing to repent. They see themselves as the chosen ones. Everybody must bow the knee to them. Everybody must be faith promoting to their will for them. You're ripe for burning because of your consequences from your actions, from your beliefs that are wrong. Purim. It's fun fundamental. So this is what we got coming. Alright, so in Trump ICE 2025 news, Trump has laid off over the average 647%. That's a lot of people that are now unemployed. I don't think you fully grasp this as part of the fall, the final four. There is a lot of people in America who are now poor and suffering, and there is no relief for them. When people have no relief, they get desperate. Batman Begins. He purposely rendered himself homeless to live in the streets to see and experience what it would be like. And he found himself having to steal for food. The prices are going to skyrocket. Nobody will be able to afford them. So those who have a job won't be able to afford to live. But jobs are going to go bust because nobody's going to be able to buy their products because they're too high priced. And so the regular stores are going to go bye-bye, just like they did in 2020. A number of stores couldn't handle it. And they had to quit and bow out. There was no government relief for them. Just like now, there is no government relief for any of the businesses. And so unless you bribe Trump to be a part of his team, you are hurting. See, don't worry about Musk. He was compensated with over $200 billion already. The stocks of Tesla dropping? Who cares? He doesn't. He's been compensated in advance. Don't cry for him. Don't give him charity. Don't do it. Dear God. And so, yes, we are about to experience the Civil War. Everybody knew it was coming. They told you it was coming. And so this is where it's tragic. There were over 30 tornadoes yesterday that decimated the Southwest. Or Southwest, Southeast, Midwest. And if you don't understand, FEMA has fired people. The government funding has been cut. And so now the people are not going to be able to claim a natural disaster unless Trump approves it. And if you're in a Democrat state, you're screwed. You're on your own. And as the person whose life is now destroyed, like those in California, there is no aid for you. FEMA can't go. The Red Cross has lost its funding. They're short-staffed, short on supplies. Help is little and late in coming, if at all. This is the consequences of what Trump has done. The federal agencies were put in place for a reason, and he is shutting it all down. so that the church can get their kingdom back. And so there's a number of Utah stuff that we finish off with here. It just breaks my heart. What the hell is going on in Washington County? They have over 1,000 kids who are homeless in Washington County. Not to mention the other counties in Utah. What the hell is going on with the parents? Do you not know your scripture about offending the little ones? What the hell is going on? And this is disturbing. I've been doing the videos mocking the police because they come out on the news saying, "We need your help finding out who done it." We don't know how to investigate crime. And I guess I need to make an apology because yesterday I found out that Utah legislature was signed into law by Governor Cox, allowing police to finally do their job. Oh my God. We had a law handcuffing the police from doing their job? What? They were just traffic cops? It's only in Utah. Oh dear God. And so yeah, as a result of this, now Utah investigators and prosecutors are stepping forward to teach the public how to spot a child sex abuser. I'm just, oh my God, we're all doomed. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, guys. Listen to how they describe how to identify a child sex abuser. Now go to the church. They are forcing 8-year-old kids and above to pay them to not have sex unless they get married in the temple, paying the prostitution price, wearing underwear, sexually abusing kids by not teaching sex ed. And then the numerous bishops and church leaders and Mormons who are sexually abusing directly. I'm just gonna cry. Dear God. All of this is designed to divert you away from the church being the causation. And so, yes, another judge was involved in sexually abusing kids. And drugs were also involved, apparently. And yes, he's Mormon. And here they are doing how to spot a sex abuser of kids. Dear God, they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. They don't want to have a clue, because if they were to actually do their job, the church would cease to exist on the face of the earth. And so the final one here, Fox News. Pay attention. They're riling up the audience against judges across this nation, specifically federal judges. It is not just a campaign targeting the specific judges that are not siding with Trump. They're on an all-out generalized tear to tear down the judicial system of the United States, to do away with it. Warned you. Here it comes. We're all gonna die. And so, yeah, we'll still see if we can make that one into a smaller, quick video. But I think we got it. Probably should even do this one as a quick video. The Passover sun. That is so cool. And this one we can throw away. Figure out what theme song in the description below for you. Throw it away. Alrighty.